Hey everyone, this is Dylan, and today I'm going to be doing a bit of it's like a show and tell review thing. So you can probably already tell from the title of this video, but I recently got the OJ Made in America ESPN 30 for 30 documentary event collector's edition. And so I've been looking at this for a little while now because OJ has really gotten had a resurgence. And pretty much, so this documentary came out, and then the People vs. OJ Simpson by Ryan Murphy came out, and I'm in the process of watching that. I just started it last night, but so there's this resurgence with him. And my mom has always been kind of this person who really, she's captivated by the O.J. Simpson trial. I was born in 1995. And so I was born the year after the Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman murders happened, and then so I was born like right in the between the middle and the end of the trial. And so my mom was really big into that, and she has like almost every book written about the OJ trial from all the major players. So I was always kind of fascinated with it because I didn't really know a whole lot about it because I didn't grow up in that around that whole time. So I have only really heard about it through my mom and stuff, and I've seen a couple like specials on TV, but nothing like super in depth. And I just wanted to show these off before I started going into this. But like my grandmother apparently started doing this when major events happened in the country or the world. She would get newspapers, and it would be just whatever the event was on the front page, and she would get them for a couple days after the event happened. And so my mom started doing that for my brother and I, and right here is the USA Today, and this is Wednesday, October 4th, 1995, so this was the day after O.J. Simpson was found not guilty. But right here, Simpson free. And then this next one is the Charlotte Observer from North Carolina. My mom was on vacation in North Carolina, which I don't know, I need to ask her if I was there or not, because that would have been only like 2 months after I was born, so this seems a little weird that she would have just left me with, I would assume, my grandparents. But she was in South Carolina visiting my grandparents, or not my grandparents, my aunt, uncle, and I think they were flying there, so they probably flew out of North Carolina or something, and she like would not get on the plane until the verdict had been said. Anyway, this is the OJ Not Guilty from the Charlotte Observer. Alright, so now I just thought that was kind of cool. But so now let me get into the set. So right here is the thing, the like packaging. And then we also have the spine. And this is a 3 DVD and 2 Blu-ray pack. Or collector set, I should say. And then we have the back, and it's got all the film festivals that it was a part of, and then it also has some like pictures, or not pictures, it has some quotes from different big publications to do it, and a brief synopsis, which I will read to you. So it says, "It is the defining cultural tale of modern America, a saga of race, celebrity, media, violence, and the criminal justice system. And 2 decades after its unforgettable climax, it continues to fascinate, polarize, and even, yes, develop new chapters. From the producers of ESPN Films' 30 for 30 and Peabody and Emmy Award-winning director Ezra Edelman comes the critically acclaimed OJ Made in America. So this is the collector set. I don't know if I ever mentioned that. And it actually, if you're not super familiar with it, it actually won the Academy Award for Best Documentary Feature. And like you would open it up, and right here would be the little book, and I already took that out, so I will get into that. It is a 5-part series. So this is the book, and it's just a little thing, and it fits right into the outside packaging. Pretty simple, and it's got all the credits right here. So you open it up, and the first disc is right here, which first off, I'm going to say this probably isn't the best like packaging type, but it like has these like sleeves that the discs go into. I'm not so worried too much about the Blu-rays in it, but the DVDs could tend to get scratched, but I guess we'll see. So then the first page of this book, it has the O.J. Simpson stats on it, so his football stats. And then it has the Disc 1. So Disc 1 is a DVD, and it includes parts 1 through 3. And the description says, "To many observers, the story of the crime of the century is a story that began the night Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman were brutally murdered outside her Brentwood condominium. But to truly grasp the significance of what happened not just that night, but the epic chronicle to follow, one has to travel back to a much different, much earlier origin points." So essentially the first part of this documentary follows OJ through high school and college, and then the Buffalo Bills, essentially. And it follows his whole football career, and I'm not a big football player, but I definitely knew, just from watching the little clips that they had, that he was a great football player. Like, there's no doubt about that. No matter how you feel about him, whether you think he did it or not, he is a great football player. And that was something that I was shocked about, because I didn't really realize that he was such a good player. But it goes through his whole thing. The second and third parts are a little fuzzy in my mind. At some point, I think the second part deals with more of his like Buffalo Bill stuff, and then him meeting Nicole Brown Simpson, and I think the third part is where the actual like murder story fits in, and then the latter half of that into the fourth and fifth parts have to do with the trial, and then the fifth part has like the verdict, and then what happens afterwards, so what he starts doing afterwards, and then also it pretty much ends with OJ getting put in jail for his stealing memorabilia. Alright, so then we have the second page, like the second part of the book, and this is the historic events of 1968. So this is like the events of O.J. Simpson's football career, essentially. Because right here, it mentions him winning the Heisman Trophy. So then, this is part 2, so this has parts 3 through 4. So it has parts 3 and 4. And it says, and this is also the DVD, it says, "There was never one Los Angeles, California. There was always two. One was the world inhabited by O.J. Simpson, wealthy, privileged, and predominantly white. A world where a celebrity was power, and where O.J., race be damned, was one of the most popular figures around. But just a few miles away from his Rockingham estate, in Brentwood, was a very different reality. A reality lived by millions of other black people at the hands of the Los Angeles Police Department and its chief, Daryl Gates." So that's another thing that they go into. They go into like the history of the LAPD and race relations, and they talk about like the Rodney King incident and all of that. Alright, so then disc 3 is a DVD, and the page, it has a map of the infamous Bronco slow speed, high speed chase, essentially. So that's the map, and it's got all these little points, and they're all talking about different things that, like the different, what they mean, essentially. And then, so this is just 3, so this has part 5 and then some bonus materials. And this is also DVD. So it says the police arrived at the condo on Bundy Drive at 4:25 a.m. on June 13th, 1994. It was a gruesome murder scene, clearly the result of a violent confrontation that had left 2 people dead, one of whom they quickly discovered was the ex-wife of O.J. Simpson. It was just the start of a chapter of American history like none other, one that would lay bare the realities of race, power, the legal system, the media, and so much more in Los Angeles, California, and beyond. So then we have disc 4, and, well, I'll show you what this is. So this is the Rockingham Evidence Map. So this is the map of Rockingham Estate, which is where O.J. Simpson lived, and it has all these points that lead to like different evidence that was collected there. And this is the Blu-ray. So this is kind of set up weird that there's 2 Blu-rays which are essentially the exact same thing that's on the DVDs. So the first Blu-ray has parts 1 through 3. And this says the crime of the century gave way to the trial of the century, which officially began in January of 1995. It would be like nothing before, nor anything that has come since and reshaped the landscape of the media and truly American culture along the way. It would also be the fight for O.J. Simpson's life. And then we have, on this last page, an excerpt from Johnny Cochran, which I won't read too much about. And then disc 5 has parts 4, 5, and then bonus features. So this is the little thing about Johnny Cochran. Alright, so the little synopsis for disc 5, which is parts 4 and 5, and bonus features. It says it took less than 4 hours for them to decide, and on the morning of October 3rd, 1995, it was announced that O.J. Simpson had been found not guilty of all charges. But as the reaction in the courtroom across Los Angeles and across the country showed, it was also much, much more than that. To many, it was a stunning, almost inexplicable miscarriage of justice. But to another group, it was a historic victory. Payback for all the losses and all the injustices that they had incurred over the generations of history. Meanwhile, it was also time for O.J. to go home. But if Simpson had hoped that he could return to any semblance of life he enjoyed before the murders, he would quickly learn that that had much changed. And thus began the strange next phase of his life, lived in the form of celebratory purgatory, and in many quarters shunned, scorned, and mocked. But in others welcomed as a character to the circus that his saga had undeniably helped to create. So that is all the discs in this and all the little synopsises, and then the last page is just a couple other quotes from organizations or like publications, so The Hollywood Reporter, BuzzFeed, The Guardian, and New York Magazine, giving like their appraisal for it, or praise of it. But I would definitely recommend this if you are interested in true crime, if you're interested in anything like that, anything related to O.J. Simpson. I would definitely recommend checking this out. I watched it within 2 days. The thing about it is that each episode, so it's 5 parts, and each part is about about an hour and 30 minutes, so it's a little bit long, but it is really good. I would definitely recommend it. And the one thing I wanted to do before I ended this video, and we'll see what happens, but I wanted to give kind of my opinion about, just based off of this documentary, because I don't know a whole lot about the story. But based off of this documentary, I wanted to give my opinion about whether I think OJ did it. And what I'm going to say is, yes, I think that OJ did do it. But I think that based off of the information given at the trial and all of the different discrepancies and stuff from the Los Angeles Police Department, I think that the jurors ended up making the right decision to acquit him of what happened. I think that so many things were gravely mishandled, and things were ridiculously, they were essentially negligent in collecting their evidence, keeping track of their evidence, and caring for their evidence. There are so many things that, procedures that were changed or different, that were pretty much ridiculous. But I think that the jury made the correct decision, and I do think that he actually committed the murders. But I don't know. It's definitely difficult to say. Kind of what leads me to that is a lot of OJ's close friends believe that he did it. But I think the one thing that saved OJ is the Dream Team. If he did not have them, I think that we would have been looking at a completely different scenario. But that is it for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments what you think about this collector set. If you have any feelings or anything about O.J. Simpson, we can do a little discussion if you want. And other than that, I hope you guys had a great day. Thank you guys for watching this video, and bye.